Some rooms remember you even when you don't remember booking them. The Whisper Hotel. This story is about the Whispering Hotel. Asterisk, asterisk, they called it the Whisper Hotel, not officially. On paper, it was the Whitmore Hotel, a modest stopover in upstate New York, half buried in snow most of the year and forgotten by travel blogs for a reason. But locals, they called it the Whisper, because people who stayed there often came back quieter. That's what Lauren told me when she sent me this story. She'd booked it for a one-night stay in February of 2019, alone. Heading to her cousin's wedding 3 towns over. Needed a cheap bed, nothing more. She should have kept driving. She arrived at 10:42 p.m. The parking lot was empty. Even the front desk was dimly lit. A single desk lamp on, with no receptionist in sight. The bell on the counter didn't ring it. Clicked, low, hollow dot then, as if from behind a curtain. A woman appeared. Not walked in, appeared. Mid-40s, smiled without showing teeth. "You're early," she said. Lauren frowned. "I booked for tonight." The woman blinked once, nodded, double quotes, "Yes, of course." She handed Lauren a key, a real one, not a card. "Room 217. Breakfast is at 7, the woman added. "But the door doesn't open until 7:11. Lauren took the elevator alone. No music, just mechanical breathing. Room 217 was at the far end of the hallway. The carpet smelled like melted crayons and mothballs. Every wall had a framed picture, each one crooked, each one depicting a door. Not rooms, not buildings, just doors. Closed, unmarked. Some had cracks of light, some didn't. She found her door, the key turned to easily. The room was ... fine, clean, outdated, one bed, one mirror, and the window wouldn't open. She went to bed around midnight, but at 1:17 a.m. she woke up to a sound, whispers, soft, multiple voices coming from the vent near the ceiling. Not words, just tones, like a conversation in a language that had too many vowels. She got out of bed, climbed on the desk to reach the vent, put her ear to it, laughter, childlike. But then, a voice, clear, close, "Don't look at the mirror." She froze, climbed, down, turned, toward the mirror. It was fogged, but she hadn't showered, and behind the fog, a handprint, pressed from the inside. She ran to the door, tried to leave. The knob didn't turn, no clicks, no resistance, just ... nothing, like it wasn't a door anymore. The whispers got louder, not angrier, hungrier. She picked up her phone. No. Signal. The screen flickered, then went black, but not off. A single line of text appeared. "It's not your room yet." She sat in the corner until dawn. When the clock hit 7:11 exactly, the door unlocked, no sound, just open. She ran to the lobby. The receptionist was gone, in her place. A note on the counter, it read, "Room 217 is reset. Thank you for staying at the Whisper." Lauren never told her family, never drove back that way again, but she mailed me the room key. And when I held it, I swear I heard something ... breathing. Mirrors show us who we are. Some just wait until we're weakest. Asterisk, asterisk, this story was sent to me by a man named Victor. Asterisk, he works in it single, lives alone in a mid-rise apartment in Charlotte, North Carolina. His building is one of those bland, corporate high-rises, beige carpeting, slow elevators, and lights that never seem fully on. In 2020, during lockdown, he stopped covering his hallway mirror. It was a thing he did since childhood, out of habit, or superstition, or something deeper, the kind of fear that follows you from dreams, too vague to explain. He always draped a towel over the long hallway mirror before bed. But that summer, one night, he forgot, and that's when she came back. It started at 3 o'clock. He woke up to a soft thud, like a book falling, but nothing had moved. His apartment was silent. Still, he passed the hallway mirror on the way to the kitchen, and out of the corner of his eye, he saw her, a girl, maybe 9, standing behind him, hair matted, eyes wide, mouth slightly open, as if trying to say a word she wasn't allowed to remember. He spun around. Nothing, just the hallway, still empty. He looked back at the mirror. She was gone. He chalked it up to sleep deprivation, work stress, isolation. But the next night, it happened again. Same time. Same mirror, same girl. But this time, she was closer. Not behind him, beside him. He covered the mirror again. Swore to himself he'd never uncover it. But the next morning, the towel was folded neatly on the floor, and the mirror was clean. Clear, spotless. He set up a webcam, pointed it at the mirror, hit record before going to bed. The footage showed nothing until 3:07 a.m., then static, just for 4 seconds, when it came back. The towel was gone, and standing in frame, her face pressed against the glass. Not facing the camera, facing him through the screen. As if she could see, he unplugged everything. Smashed the mirror, threw the shards away, replaced it. But the next night, the new mirror had the same scratch across the bottom, a faint curve, almost like a smile. He tried staying with a friend. Different apartment, different mirror, same time, same girl. Only now, she was moving, whispering he couldn't hear the words. Not exactly, but the phrase that kept ringing in his head was, "You promised you'd come back." He went to therapy, medication, everything, but nothing stopped the reflections, even in puddles, car windows, polished metal. He saw her, sometimes alone, sometimes with others, other children, all pale, all watching. Then one night, she finally spoke. He was brushing his teeth, leaned forward toward the bathroom mirror. She appeared, hand flat against the glass, voice soft. "Now it's your turn to be the one who watches." And the lights went out. He woke up on the bathroom floor, face pressed to the mirror. But it wasn't cold. It was warm, like skin, and behind the glass, he saw himself smiling, wide. Still he lives alone, but now he leaves all the mirrors uncovered. Because when he doesn't, she gets lonely. And loneliness, she told him once, is what makes mirrors hungry. Some hitchhikers don't want a ride, they want a memory. This story came from Isaac, a long-haul trucker from Colorado. He's been driving for over 20 years. He doesn't scare easily, but the way his email was written, you could feel it, like someone writing with a shaking hand. He said this happened in the fall of 2014. Highway 287, empty stretch near Lamar, around 2:50 a.m. Thick fog rolled in, no moon, just road in silence. That's when he saw her. She was standing on the side of the road, barefoot, wearing a white hospital gown, long black hair, face tilted down, no bag, no car, nothing around for miles, just ... there, alone. He slowed down, rolled down the passenger window. "You okay?" he asked. She didn't move, didn't look up. Then she whispered, "You missed the exit." He pulled over, checked the GPS. He hadn't missed anything. When he looked back, she was gone, vanished. 10 minutes later, the fog thickened. Visibility dropped to nothing. Then, ahead. Headlights, another truck, he honked. Flashed lights. No response. The truck veered toward him. He swerved off the road just in time, skidded to a stop in a ditch. When he looked back, there was no truck, no sound, no lights, only fog, and standing beside his passenger door, her, this time. She looked up, her eyes were gone, black sockets empty, but her mouth was moving, whispering over and over, "You missed the exit, you missed the exit, you missed the exit." He threw the truck into gear, sped off, didn't look back, didn't stop until sunrise. At the next rest stop, he got out, checked the cab, everything normal, except on the passenger seat, a hospital bracelet. Name. Cora T, he asked around. Found an old diner nearby, showed the bracelet to the waitress. She froze. "Where'd you get this?" she asked. He explained. She pointed to a cork board on the wall. Dozens of photos. Missing persons, and in the top left corner, Cora Thomas, last seen, 1987, wearing a hospital gown, found dead 6 miles off. 287, struck by a trucker who never stopped. Isaac never took that route again, but he keeps the bracelet in his glove compartment. He says he doesn't know why, only that sometimes, when the fog rolls in, he hears her whisper, "You still haven't stopped," and the passenger seat feels cold. Some doors lead to places your house doesn't remember building. This story came from a woman named Rachel. She and her husband had just moved into their first home, a quiet craftsman in rural Pennsylvania, built in 1946. 2 bedrooms, fireplace, wooden floors that creaked like polite ghosts. She loved the house, until she discovered the basement. It started with a hum, low, mechanical, constant. She heard it under the floorboards near the pantry, thought it was plumbing or wiring, but her husband didn't hear it, even when he stood in the same spot. Then came the draft, cold air rising through a crack in the hardwood, but there were no vents, no crawl space, no explanation. So she pulled up the floorboard and found a trap door. It wasn't on the blueprint. The home inspection hadn't mentioned it. The realtor swore there was no basement, but the door was there. Iron latch, thick hinges, smelled like earth and time. She waited until her husband left for work the next morning, then opened it. A steep staircase, stone walls, no light. She brought a flashlight, descended carefully. The air got colder with each step. The hum got louder at the bottom. A room, concrete floor, no windows, and on the far wall, a mirror, tall, framed in wood, carved with symbols she didn't recognize, and written across the glass, in reverse. "You found me." She turned to leave, but the stairs were gone. "Only wall, only stone," she screamed. Pounded the ground, no response. Then, in the mirror, a flicker. Not her reflection, but a child, maybe 5, pale, wearing her wedding dress. The child pointed, Rachel turned, and there, in the wall behind her, a door, small, metal, no handle but carved into it. You remember now. She doesn't remember opening it, only stepping through. The next thing she recalls, she was in the kitchen, standing, covered in dust. The trapdoor was gone, the floor intact, but her phone showed she'd been offline for 2 days. Her husband said she must have passed out. A panic attack, exhaustion. She tried to believe him, until she checked the pantry and saw a child's drawing on the wall, crayon her as a little girl, standing beside the mirror, smiling, holding a sign, "She found me." She's never found the trapdoor again. But some nights, when she opens the fridge, there's a hum, low, mechanical, constant, and sometimes the butter is missing, replaced by something wet, wrapped in paper, and when she unwraps it, it's always the same thing. A photo of her in the basement, holding a child that has her face. They say the walls have ears. Sometimes they have memories too. This final story came from Darius, a 35-year-old schoolteacher in Detroit. He'd been renting a small one-bedroom apartment downtown. The kind built before insulation was a concept old radiator, peeling paint, thin walls that whispered other people's arguments, but it was cheap, and it was quiet enough, until the neighbor upstairs moved out. It was a couple, late 20s, friendly, but kept to themselves. One day, Darius came home and saw the building manager in the hallway. "New tenant?" he asked. The manager frowned. "They moved out last week." Darius blinked. "No, I saw them this morning. She was watering the plants." The manager shook his head. "No one's up there. Unit 3A is empty." That night, around midnight, Darius heard footsteps above his ceiling. He rolled his eyes. Thin walls. Maybe someone squatting. Maybe the manager was wrong. But the next night, same thing, and then, at 3:12 a.m., a soft knock at his front door. He opened it. No one there, but on the floor, a piece of paper torn from a journal, handwritten. "She doesn't know she died." He took it to the manager, who insisted no. One was living above him. Even opened the door to 3A to prove it. Empty, bare floors. No furniture, just dust and cold air back in his apartment. Darius felt uneasy. He walked to the wall where the radiator hissed, placed his hand on the wallpaper, felt a heartbeat, soft, steady, too slow to be human. He bought a sound recorder, set it by the ceiling. Next morning, he played it back. Most of it was static, until 3:12 a.m. then. "You're in my place. Why are you pretending to be me?" The voice was female, broken, not angry, confused. He started dreaming of her, always the same. A woman brushing her hair in front of a mirror, but her reflection didn't move, just stared at him, mouth closed, mouthing something he couldn't hear. Until the last night. Then he finally understood. She was saying, "Let me back in." He woke up on the floor, nose bleeding, standing over him, the building manager, holding his keys. Door was open. The man said, "You okay?" Darius nodded, but behind the manager, down the hallway, a woman stood at the top of the stairs, smiling. Not at Darius, at the manager, as if to say, "He's finally letting me back in." He moved out 2 days later, but sometimes, when the radiator hisses, he hears her humming, and when he looks in the mirror too long, it blinks before he does. 5 people, 5 stories, one common thread. These weren't just ghost sightings, they were echoes, not of the dead, but of moments, fractured, repeated, and reborn through those who dare to notice them. Midnight is not a time, it's a threshold. And some doors don't wait to be opened. They come to you.